In 1979, a revolution reshaped the nation of Iran forever. Millions took to the streets, calling for the end of monarchy and the rise of a new Islamic system. At the center of this transformation was Ruhollah Khomeini, a cleric who would soon become one of the most powerful and controversial figures in modern history. To many, he was a symbol of resistance. To others, he would come to represent something far more troubling. What followed in the years after the revolution was not just political change, but a period marked by fear, repression, and one of the most intense crackdowns in the modern Middle East. After returning from exile, Khomeini quickly established control over the country. The monarchy was abolished, and Iran was declared an Islamic republic. But revolutions do not end when power changes hands. In many cases, that is when the real struggle begins. Various political groups, leftists, liberals, nationalists, and even former allies began to challenge the new leadership. What followed was a systematic effort to eliminate opposition. By the early 1980s, the government had begun arresting thousands of individuals accused of dissent. Universities were shut down during what became known as the Cultural Revolution, aimed at reshaping education to align with ideological goals. Public trials were often swift. In many cases, they lasted only minutes. The rise of political repression. The new system relied heavily on revolutionary courts. These courts operated with broad authority, often bypassing standard legal protections. Charges such as enmity against God or corruption on earth became common accusations against political opponents. Many of those arrested were members of opposition groups, including students, intellectuals, and activists. Some had taken part in protests, others were simply suspected of disloyalty. Prisons quickly filled. Facilities like Evin Prison became synonymous with political detention. Former prisoners have described harsh interrogations, psychological pressure, and long periods of isolation. The atmosphere inside these prisons reflected the broader climate outside, one of fear and uncertainty. In 1980, Iran was drawn into a devastating conflict with neighboring Iraq. The Iran-Iraq War would last 8 years and cost hundreds of thousands of lives. The war had a profound impact on internal politics. Under the pressure of external threat, the government intensified its crackdown on dissent. Criticism of the leadership was often equated with betrayal. National unity became a priority, and those seen as undermining it were dealt with harshly. During this period, executions of political prisoners increased. Many were carried out following brief trials with limited access to legal defense. The line between justice and suppression became increasingly blurred.
The 1988 mass executions. Perhaps the most controversial and widely discussed chapter of this era came near the end of the war. In 1988, thousands of political prisoners across Iran were executed in what has since been described by human rights organizations as a mass killing. Many of these prisoners had already been serving sentences, some for years. Special committees, later referred to as death commissions, were formed to review cases. Prisoners were questioned about their political beliefs, affiliations, and willingness to renounce opposition groups. For many, the outcome was already decided. Those who failed to meet the expectations of these committees were executed. Reports suggest that the process was carried out in secrecy, with families often not informed until much later. The full scale of the event remains a subject of ongoing investigation and debate, but it is widely regarded as one of the darkest moments in Iran's modern history. In the years that followed, discussions of these events remained limited within Iran. Public acknowledgement was rare, and many families of victims continued to seek answers. Outside the country, however, awareness grew. Human rights organizations documented testimonies from survivors and families. Reports detailed patterns of arrests, trials, and executions that painted a picture of systematic repression. These accounts have played a crucial role in preserving the memory of what happened during this period. The legacy of Ruhollah Khomeini remains deeply complex. For his supporters, he was a leader who stood against foreign influence and reshaped Iran's identity. For critics, his rule marked a period of severe political repression and human rights abuses. Both perspectives continue to shape discussions about Iran today. What is clear is that the events of the 1980s left a lasting impact on the country, politically, socially, and emotionally. History is rarely simple. The story of Iran after the 1979 revolution is one of transformation, conflict, and difficult questions. It is a reminder of how quickly hope can give way to fear, and how power, once consolidated, can be used in ways that shape generations. Understanding this period is not just about looking back, it is about recognizing the importance of accountability, memory, and the voices of those who lived through it. Because behind every statistic is a human story, and those stories deserve to be heard.